Hello and welcome to the Real Agents of Change interview series, where we just raise up and celebrate and support all of those real agents of change in the world who are making a difference in their own way, whether they're a real estate agent or a nonprofit or a leader that supports them. And today's interview is the most important one that we could possibly do, because it is between Realty Gift Fund, our specialized nonprofit, and Real Agents of Change. And we want to share with you who we are, why we've partnered together, and what the distinctions are between Realty Gift Fund and the Real Agents of Change. So having said that, Bruce GEISS is my buddy, my confidant, my collaborating partner with the certification class. Bruce, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Cammie. It's great to be here again with you. So I'm Bruce GEISS. I'm one of the four founders of Realty Gift Fund, which is a 501c3 that was formed to solve a very big problem for the nonprofit world. I might just say early on here, Cammie, that we are four very experienced real estate people, each of us with about 4 decades of experience in the commercial and investment world, also in the residential world, but we've also acted as builders and developers, and most importantly as investors, where we spend our money and other people's monies to purchase real estate that across the country that sometimes needed to be fixed. We felt there was an opportunity there, and by doing this for 40 years, we got very comfortable with real estate. Along the way, each of us participated heavily in the nonprofit world, either by serving on boards or advising them or raising money for them. We've always been dedicated to the nonprofit world. So we're at a stage in our life where we recognized a problem in the nonprofit world, and we wanted to fix that if we could. We threw that problem on the table and said, how can we solve this? And we created Realty Gift Fund as a way of doing that. So we're very happy to have found you, because we have been on our way now for over 3 years, taking gifts of real estate on behalf of the nonprofit world, which is what we do. We accept exclusively charitable gifts of real estate. We fix this real estate, we sell it, and when we're done, 90 to 95% of the proceeds that we create go to other nonprofits. We allow our donors to say where. If they don't say where, we make it up. We send the money out on our own accord, but most often our donors know exactly who they're wanting to support, whether it's one nonprofit or multiple nonprofits. And it's a role that, I love. I love getting up in the morning and doing what we do, because every time we have a closing and we can cut a check to a nonprofit, nothing feels better, to be honest with you.
Well, amen. And I'd like to share with our viewers how we met and why we are where we are today. So about 1.5 years ago, I had been a real estate agent for 15, 18 years. I did HGTV House Hunters. I was a really active agent. And over the years, I had written a book, and I had developed a way to partner with for-profits and nonprofits to make money, making a difference. We call it cause marketing. And I'm at a conference just meeting more for-profits and nonprofits to do that with. And the person at the front of the room started talking about charitable real estate. And I was riveted. I thought, how could I have been in real estate for 15 years and be working with dozens of nonprofits, from Ronald McDonald House and Make-A-Wish to the smallest local one, and not know about this? So I start delving into it, and the pandemic hits. And I am immediately unemployed because I was a speaker. I was promoting my book. I was out on big stages and doing fundraisers for people, and all of that came to an end. So as I started delving into it, I learned that I needed this type of a specialized nonprofit, and I went on the hunt. And in full disclosure, I spoke to, I think, 5 that were kind of sort of similar, but not really. One of them kept 30% no matter what. One of them wanted me to go out and find properties that they could do this with, but they were going to keep 100% of the profit because they wanted it for their nonprofit. Another one just flat out was for bean counters, and they didn't really appreciate the real estate agent's perspective. So when I spoke to Jay Grab and Bruce GEISS, we hit it off instantly. And there was such synergy and energy and connection. And as we started to have more and more calls together, when you guys said, Cammie, tell your real estate friends that we give a full commission, it kind of all clicked for me. And I thought, wow, this is a win-win-win for realtors, property donors, nonprofits. And you and I spent the last summer putting together a certification class.
Well, we did. And I'll tell you, it was something in the back of my mind for a long time, because I said we've been at this for over 3 years. But when you came along with all of your energy and your intelligence, and I'm being sincere about that, it is great having you as a partner with Realty Gift Fund. It did just click. And when we started talking about a certification class for the real estate community nationwide, it really captured my attention. And I do love how we collaborated. It took us a long time to put together this class, which we teach once a month to the nationwide community of real estate brokers, which, by the way, recently had insurance brokers, financial advisors, nonprofits, and others who have started hearing about what we're doing and are joining our class to become certified in the topic of charitable giving of real estate. I will, as a disclaimer, it's a in the weeds kind of class. We are serious about it. Everyone has to be paying attention. It's a tough class for people to get through, but when they are done, our intention, as you know, is for them to feel confident about the topic of the charitable giving of real estate, so that they can use this new knowledge to go out and farm for new clients, capture maybe high net worth clients who they've never been able to reach before, and reach out to their local nonprofits who they've been supporting anyway through, small pieces of their commissions, or however, many of them serve on boards anyway. And now it's all coming together. So, what we say at Realty Gift Fund, and you've helped us modify this a little bit, we've always said, do what you do well. And that's what we preach to our nonprofit friends, who are so good at drawing donors to their causes. Charitable giving is about the emotional connection between a donor and a cause. And the ability of a nonprofit fundraiser to attract and hold a donor to that cause and make significant commitments to that cause is what they're good at. What we're good at is, and we've become very good at it over the years, is accepting sometimes difficult, sometimes very easy, charitable gifts of real estate, taking everything off of the shoulders of the donor and the nonprofit who's going to benefit at the end. And we just do it ourselves. We take the load, we take the risk, we use our money to pay off debt, to provide cash payments to the donors, to fix properties, to hold properties for a period of time until we can sell them. We do that really well. And of course, there are things that we don't do well. And then you came along. And you were the one who has been able to inspire the national community of realtors and nonprofits and what have you to come to the table to talk to us about the opportunities of the charitable giving of real estate. And I might just say, Cammie, for the purposes of this interview, the largest asset class in America is real estate, almost 45% of America's wealth. And the nonprofit community is a very stout part of America's economy, employing 10% of America's workforce. And in 2017, For the first time, they hit $400 billion in total charitable gifts of all kinds into the nonprofit world. But less than 2% of those gifts came from gifts of real estate. That's the problem we threw on the table years ago and said, how can we solve that? And we solved it by creating our own 501c3, whose sole mission is to accept the charitable gifts of real estate. But we need an audience. And by finding you, or actually you finding us, and the chemistry that was developed early on, and partnering on this cause, you've been able to create an entire audience for us from coast to coast and border to border that are all now engaged actively, passionately, lively in both their real estate practice and in the nonprofit world. So as you have said many times, you can make money and you can make a difference at the same time by each of us doing what we do well. And I'm so appreciative that you came along.
Well, and I'm so grateful to have found you, because I knew when I heard about this that I was going to do something with it. But I couldn't have done it without finding the right specialized nonprofit to do this. And to your point, $8 billion a year is already being donated with hardly anyone participating. And you and other experts have shown me that that can go to $28 billion a year. So I'm thinking that I would like to address the three questions that come up the most.
Okay.
So the first one is, and the first two you can help me with, the last one I'm going to take. So
okay.
The first one is, if this is so great and it's been around for so long, why
Yes.
have I never heard of it?
Well, it has been around for a long time. In 1917, the U.S. government created the first permanent tax code to help support the war effort back in those days. And when they did, they realized that the wealthy people who had been making contributions over the years to help social causes, now that they're being taxed on their income, might lessen their impact on the nonprofit world. And so they created the tax deduction for a charitable gift. Along with creating the tax deduction for a charitable gift, they went into some of the nuances of that, which means that, for example, if someone brings us a gift that's, say, valued at $1 million, but the donor actually needs some cash, the IRS created what is known as a bargain sale. So I can write a check to a donor for, say, $300,000 to give them some money back. And it pares down the gift, the difference between the $1 million and the cash payment. That's now the charitable gift. That portion, that gift portion, transfers to us by a deed and eliminates all of the tax obligations that the property owner would have had if they had sold the property for cash. And they get their charitable deduction. And they get to use an asset for their philanthropic goals instead of using their cash. Many, many, many smart donors know what asset philanthropy is all about. But the reason you haven't heard about this is because the nonprofit world, right from the start, said, please don't give us an asset as a charitable gift. We have no idea what we would do with a 70% vacant shopping center if you tried to make a charitable gift of that to us. And so the charitable giving of real estate has continuously for 100 years just stalled. So we knew that if we could step up with our special knowledge of real estate and the cash that we have that has been provided to us by our investors who we have made money for over the years and love what we're doing, and we can use that cash to make these payments, pay off debt, holding costs, repair costs, what have you, and turn these assets into real money, then we can create a lot of funds for the charitable world. The charitable world is waking up to the opportunity of asset philanthropy, but still does not want to accept the gift directly. So what we have done across America so far is create this collaborative partnership with the nonprofit world where we will take these gifts on their behalf from their donors. And when we're done, the money goes to them. So you're going to hear a lot more about that. In fact, asset philanthropy is the most popular topic in the nonprofit conference circuit right now. And there are several very specialized researchers and consultants to the nonprofit world who have proven statistically that nonprofits need to pay attention to gifts of non-cash assets. So we're all going to hear more about it.
See, this is why I like to have both of us on the screen, because we both have a little bit different spin and people can hear it differently. So you give such a brilliant, complete dissertation about why people haven't heard of it. Just to kind of dummy it down for those like me who need just to hear it in layman terms, the reason you've never heard about it is because no matter how beneficial it is for nonprofits and donors, nonprofits say no. So financial service, real estate agents have never really been taught about this, because no matter how great it is, if the nonprofit says no, you're back to square one. So with
That's right.
So with what we're doing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which of the 1.3 million nonprofits, your church, your veterans group, your homeless shelter, doesn't matter who it is, we can partner with them and just give them the check.
Exactly. You need a donor and you need a nonprofit in order for there to be a charitable gift. We have inserted ourselves in between the donor and the nonprofit to handle charitable gifts of real estate, and we support every cause in America as long as it's a legitimate IRS recognized 501c3.
And the third side of that triangle of trust, or three-legged stool as you call it, is the real estate agent. Because the minute you take possession of the property, I think of it as hot potato. Hot potato. We got a hot potato, pass it to the realtor. List, liquidate, leverage, leave legacy is what I like to say. So the second question that comes up, not nearly as much as it used to, I think we're really starting to help people understand why there's so many generous people in the world, and that there are people who are trying and wanting to donate real estate. So this question is, why in the world would somebody just give a property away?
Well, there are a lot of very generous people in America. If you watch the curve of charitable giving from 1970 to current times, that graph goes sort of steadily up. America is a very generous community of people when it comes to the nonprofit causes, because the nonprofits do serve programs and services that you just can't get paid for through your taxes. And so people are very generous when it comes to using their money, instead of paying taxes, to divert it to a nonprofit who supports something that they believe in. It is also true that many people get to a point in their life when they have a real estate asset that they no longer use. And so the example that we talk about frequently is the couple that has the ski cabin in Colorado. They live in Kansas City. For years and years and years, everyone's gone to the ski cabin in Colorado for the vacation to ski, and there's 3 kids, and they've all grown up on the slopes. But now those kids are grown, they're married, they have jobs, they have their own kids, they live all over America. And the parents don't go skiing that much anymore on their own, and it's time to, honey, let's sell the ski cabin. But it's been used for 30 years and it needs work in order to prepare it for the market. And you'd be surprised how many times people will call us and say, if you'll just take it, we'll give the whole darn thing away to the nonprofit world. But you've got to assume responsibility for fixing it and selling it and dealing with all of those issues. And if you will do that, we will give it away. And statistic evidence proves that people will use their assets for philanthropy as much for convenience as they will for any sort of monetary return, tax deduction, or what have you, because it helps the family fulfill its philanthropic legacy. And at the same time, liquidate an asset that they simply just don't use anymore. And that applies to not only ski cabins, but shopping centers, office buildings, storage facilities. The number of real estate investors who wake up on a Monday morning and say, why do I own this one, is astounding. I've been there, okay? And using your assets for philanthropy is all about people who are basically deep down altruistic, and they want to make a difference.
And that same ski cabin with those same 3 adult children, if they were to sell the property, those kids might have their hand out and it might end up being a really complicated emotional transaction. But as you mentioned before, if that couple were to say, you know, we'll donate this property, we'd like to get a couple $100,000 out so we can buy life insurance policies for our kids and give them something from it, that's called the bargain sale. So we want our viewers to know that you can get cash out of that property before you donate it, or as part of how you donate.
As part of the donation, and you are absolutely right. There are 100 uses for that cash, and there are 100 needs or reasons why a donor would like a portion of their cash to be involved in a donation. But one of the popular reasons is to buy replacement life insurance policy for the kids, which when they pass away passes to their children tax-free. So it's a brilliant way of managing the family estate. And many estate planners and financial advisors and wealth managers are all in on this topic. They know exactly why someone should give an asset instead of cash.
So the first 2 questions of why have I never heard of it and why would anybody give a property away also lead into really making the distinction between Realty Gift Fund and Real Agents of Change. So Realty Gift Fund is the nonprofit that is the go-between. It's the bridge, it's the vendor, it's the partner, the catalyst to help to bring the donor and the nonprofit world together. The Real Agents of Change have partnered with Realty Gift Fund to create the certification class so that the 2 million realtors out there, when we certify 1% of them, and as we know now, financial advisors, insurance people, all these people, nonprofits, what's that all about? So all kinds of people are coming into the certification class to learn about this. But as you all have shared with me many times in the last year or so, the bottleneck is, okay, now that we know what this is, we love the idea, we as the nonprofit would love to get these donations. We as real estate agents would love to get a full commission and list and liquidate these things and be the hero. What do we do next? What is
it's the most commonly asked question when I make a presentation to a group of 2 or a group of 200. They say, wow, it's about time someone came along with a solution, but what do we do now? And Cammie, that's why I'm so happy we met you.
So the third question is, okay, I get it. I understand why I've never heard of it, and I can see why people are trying to give property away. But this whole thing about doubling profitability from charitable real estate, I don't get it. How can I actually leverage this? How can I get in front of lots of donors and build my resources, relationships, and revenue, as we like to say? So this third question I'm going to take on, because if there's Realty Gift Fund who does the transactions and helps to make them smooth and easy, and there's a certification class to teach everyone about charitable real estate and what it is, the last aspect, or the bigger aspect, is how do we leverage this? And there's something that I've been doing for many years before I learned about charitable real estate. And charitable real estate just takes what I've been doing 1,000 notches up. Cause marketing campaigns. When you look at Dawn dish soap cleaning the little duckies, they do it because they're great people and they want to serve the environment, but they're also very business savvy. They know that when they are promoting a cause in their marketing, they are attracting more customers and clients. Back in the 90s, StarKist tuna on their can, dolphin safe. People were buying StarKist at 10 cents more a can and promoting to their friends, you better buy StarKist because they're dolphin safe. They're saving the dolphins. So there's lots of statistics around 87% of consumers will choose your real estate company, your insurance company, your mortgage company when you are socially responsible, when you're doing the right thing, when you're being a part of the solution, etc. And people will pay more for your services and they'll refer you. They will talk and give you introductions because you're doing good things in the world. So what we teach at the Real Agents of Change is how to leverage this, how to get out in the community and share with people that you are a charitable real estate specialist, that you are part of the solution, that you can help nonprofits get checks that are an average of $550,000 for the average donation from real estate. So I'll give a couple of examples and then we'll bring our wonderful interview to an end. I've got a couple of ladies in my group that are doing these cause marketing campaigns. One of them, within just about 30 days, got 2 listings. They're not donations of real estate, but they did come to her because she's showing up as a contribution. She's showing up as this real agent of change. Her local newspaper even asked her to start writing a column about charitable real estate in her state of Idaho. Have another woman who's doing the same kind of a campaign, and she's attracted a buyer in her area at $500,000 because he said, I love what you're doing. I don't have anything to donate, but I want to hire you. I want to work with someone who's socially responsible. And as you and I talk about all the time, what a brilliant, beautiful way to get in front of the luxury market, to talk to the high net worth people, to be able to share with them, I can help you leave legacy smarter. I can help you to get that millions of dollars from your property, from your asset to your favorite nonprofit with really a lot of convenience, as you just mentioned. So that's why businesses can double their profitability and nonprofits can 6 times their endowments without adding a donor, without doing a traditional fundraiser. That statistic comes from our mutual friend, Dr. Russell James, who I've also interviewed. And, over this last year, I've just really become so grateful that before the pandemic and before I learned about charitable real estate, we were leveraging cause marketing, for-profit, nonprofit coming together to do fundraisers. But now that the fundraisers are being canceled, are not well attended, cash is tight, real estate is hot, fundraising is not, and we have a solution to fund the nonprofits in charitable real estate. So as we
Cami, let me just say one last thing too. We operate on a national basis. We have closed donations in 10 different states. We've always operated on a national basis. And let's just be clear, the donation passes to Realty Gift Fund, and the very first thing we need to do is position that property for a sale. So in every local market in which we accept a donation, we need a real estate broker to team with us. And so we are hiring brokers, paying them commissions, listening to them when they say to us, please paint the kitchen, fix the roof. We're a great seller. We work with our brokers, not against them. And they do like working with us. So that's why the real estate community, I think, is so intrigued by what we're doing, because everyone can benefit.
Well, actually, the interview that I did yesterday on Lab Coat Agents has brought us a real estate agent who wants to donate her own primary property.
Wonderful.
So what a great thing for her to leave legacy, feel good about what she's doing, and frankly, working with me and with us to get the craziest PR, marketing. She will be interviewed. She will be on local news for doing this. And the thing is, she's not doing it for that reason. But when all the nonprofits in her area learn that they can go to her, she can help all of them get funded by the millions. And that's what I'm all about, is how to position people to be the go-to expert so that the whole market, the whole state, the whole country are working together. We have 3 women around the country who specialize in senior citizens, and they have for a very long time. And this is just the perfect addition to their specialty. So we're creating pods of people that can, refer each other in their own niche, because this is the secret real estate niche that's funding nonprofits by the billions. And inside that niche, there are seniors, there are veterans, there are animal organizations with children and churches and universities and all these different subcategory of nonprofit. And you can be a specialist in any one of those to really attract the people that you want to do business with and do good things in the world. Is there any last comment you'd like to make as we bring this to a close?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for finding us. And thank you for being a great partner. Together, we're going to reach our goal, which we have stated. We want to create $1 billion a year of additional charitable giving. That's our near-term goal. And from there, we can go further. So thank you.
Every time you say that, I just get a big grin on my face, because I was saying for the first 6 months, $1 billion by 2025. And now I've got Realty Gift Fund, taking it up a notch, $1 billion a year. And I believe we can do it. I know we can do it. It's a $28 billion a year industry. So $1 billion is not much at all. And when you think about the commission that's associated with that, we are paying our real estate friends a lot of money. I love that the nonprofit world cannot get these big checks unless our realtor friends are getting a check too. And our realtor friends can't get that big check unless a lot of proceeds are going to the nonprofit world. So I want to
Lots of winners.
I want to thank you as well, Bruce, for being so open to the conversation. When I reached out a year ago, I know that there have been dozens, maybe hundreds of people who have come to you and said, hey, let's do something. And
there have been.
Yeah, but there was something the universe wanted us to do together, and here we are. If you are listening to this interview and you feel like you're a real agent of change, whether you're a real estate agent, a nonprofit, any kind of for-profit business, nonprofit business leader, if you are changing the world with your actions and you want to be a part of our movement, just reach out to us. We are more than happy to have you sit in our class, even maybe as a VIP guest for free, just to get a taste of what we're doing so that you can bring it to your marketplace. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.